Stream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show on this beautiful Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I certainly did. Some golf involved, getting out in the beautiful weather. It was fantastic. Watching some baseball, some spring training baseball. Watched a lot of hockey. Watched some golf. Even watched some live golf. Blech. 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 I was actually hitting balls over at Orange County National, where they're going to host a live event, and they're already getting ready for it. They're putting up all the scaffolding and everything. It's going to be a big to-do over there.
They actually have to put up scaffolding?
Yeah.
For who?
This huge crowd's going to be coming in.
Really?
Nah, probably not. I don't know. It's
family and friends.
Family and friends only.
And the Saudi sheiks.
Yeah.
Whoever. I don't know.
There's sports washing. And also catching up on Full Swing on Netflix. I watched another couple episodes this weekend. Love that show. So anyway, hope you guys had a great weekend. Wonder what you're doing outside of football season. Let us know. Eric Erlinson's going to join us here right at 10:05 because he's got a skedaddle over to the Lightning as Julien Brisebois will be doing a presser at 11 o'clock today to talk about Tanner Jeannot, their new acquisition, 25-year-old power forward. No, it's not Kevin McHale, folks. He's this is I'd like to call him Tom Wilson light, or maybe a poor man's Tom Wilson.
Ooh.
24 goals last year, not as many this year, but he's a bruiser. He's a fighter, and he likes to get in front of the net and beat people up, and offensively and defensively, which after watching this weekend and last week on Thursday is something the Lightning desperately need. They've got to be much tougher to play against because right now they look soft in front of the net. Yeah. Soft.
I'll tell you what, though. The Lightning have been losing too many fights lately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're losing too many fights. Let's be honest here.
And is it fair to say that he might be replacing Pat Maroon? Which forward loses his time? Maybe not Maroon.
Well, I think everybody thinks it's Vladdy.
It's Vladdy?
I think it's Vladdy. Because if you're a bottom six guy, you got to be able to grind and forecheck and be fit. That's not Vladdy's game.
Yeah.
That's not Vladdy's game.
Really is.
I think that's the reason why his point totals are very low.
Yeah.
So I think Jeannot slots into that third line with what, Colton and Nick Paul probably?
Yeah.
If I had to assume.
Yeah.
And you have a nice bruiser of a line right there.
Maybe, yeah.
I think that's the thing. But, yeah, 22 fights in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it led the league last year.
With 13.
Also 51 blocks.
Yeah.
Led Nashville forwards, which is something else they like. He had 24 goals last year. Hasn't had nearly the production this year. Hasn't really been shooting the puck. But, again, the Lightning gave up a lot to get him. 5 picks and Cal Foote. So this tells me that this is a guy that they targeted, that they think is, and they've got control of him for 2 years, that they think is a core 20s, mid-20s player, much in the line of Paul and Hagel. Yeah. And if he turns out to be as good as those guys, which I think he will, trusting Julien Brisebois and his staff, I don't care about the draft picks. After draft picks.
No, and I already saw the report that Nashville was already talking long-term with them before they made this deal, and they were in the ballpark of 6 years, $2 million per. 6 years, $2 million per. So if you think about it,
Nick Paul deal.
That's Nick Paul. It's a little bit cheaper than what Nick Paul got. So if you look at it, it's going to be a team-friendly deal. But yeah, everybody's all hung up over these draft picks and everything. And
who cares?
am I going to be honest and tell you that he's
worth?
Am I going to sit here and tell you that he's worth 5 draft picks? A couple of them very high picks as well in Cal Foote. No, I'm not going to tell you that. But for every other team in the league, it's a bad deal. But for the Lightning, it's a great deal because, as I said yesterday on Twitter, this is a team that's in the middle of a potential dynasty.
Absolutely.
And you have to continue to keep this dynasty kind of going right now.
1,000%.
Nobody on this team cares about picks. And last time I checked, for these high draft picks, who's the last first-round pick on the Lightning that's still on the roster? Oh, it's Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Last time I checked. And he was drafted 11 years ago.
Right. And where are the Lightning drafting?
Late,
the 20s.
Late in the bottom.
Yeah.
In the bottom.
You're not getting any difference makers there. Not like a Tanner Jeannot.
Not typically.
No, you're not. It's hard to find starters. It's hard to find guys that are going to make it to the NHL at that number.
Yeah, and if you know what? If right now you're on the fence about it, just if he's in the lineup tomorrow night against Florida and he's giving Matt Tkachuk the business, okay, maybe you'll ease up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's what this guy does.
Yeah.
He's a gnat out there.
Hey, Eric Orlinson's going to join us here at 10:05, so I'm going to get to just a couple other things set up the show. We're going to talk some baseball here. As I mentioned, Taj Bradley had his debut yesterday for the Rays and got through his inning with 7 pitches, getting Justin Turner and Rafael Devers out, a couple of All-Stars, and getting some nice things said about him by Justin Turner, or was it Devers? One of them said that high fastball is hard to hit. He was hitting 98, and so here comes another hoss. Boy, the Rays are pitching thick, and I think they'll probably deal somebody at some point to get some more pop. Although Luke Raley went deep, we're not going to make a big deal out of spring home runs, but you would like to see this team. It's interesting. There's definitely a correlation between how they play offensively during the spring and how they look and win during the spring and how they look early on in the season. So I would, sometimes spring training doesn't mean much, but usually to the Rays it does. I think it's because they have a younger core, and it just those guys are trying harder in spring instead of working on stuff. It's more of a accurate glimpse of what you're going to see. So, and we're going to talk about the baseball walk-off, which I love and you hate. The guy, I forget the player's name, Red Sox and Braves, and the bases were loaded. He did not get in the box and ready to go with 8 seconds left on the pitch clock. So you have as a hitter, you have 22 seconds. Is that correct? 22 seconds to get into the box and get ready to hit, and you can't do that, and everybody's losing their mind, including my partner over here. So we're going to have a very spirited discussion on the new rules in baseball. I love him. He's not so much. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't the old head be the one that's complaining about, that guy's got to get it?
Yeah, you're forcing me to be the old head on the show and defend the
undefendable.
Be the
I got to see
traditionalist
more
here.
crotch grabbing and spitting in the batter's box before.
That's baseball. That's baseball.
All right, let's talk some hockey with our good friend Eric Erlinson, Lightning Insider. What's up, Double E's? How you doing, partner?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good, gentlemen. We use that term loosely. Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we. So, man, it's since last Thursday, I don't even recognize this team, especially defensively. What the hell is going on with the Lightning? They leave more people open than an NBA basketball game. It's
All-Star game.
Yeah, an all-star game. That's right. I mean, here you go. Walk right in, Sidney Crosby. Park your ass at the back of the net, and we'll feed you. It's been ugly. What the hell is going on?
It has. It's really kind of hard to put a finger on. They're not a bad defensive team.
They're not.
It's mental focus, mental awareness is what's going on. And the only thing I can kind of think of is that they're at a point in the season, they're not through their dog days yet because they've been in a playoff position for months. Mm-hmm. They've known who they're going to play for months. And you just can't get your mind to the state and the level that you needed to get to, right? So you forget. You just don't have that sharpness.
It's an edge.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Because if you watch them, they're not moving their heads. They're not looking. They're not head checking. Right? Nick, you remember that phrase from soccer days? Head check.
Yes.
There's none of that going on. So that's how you leave guys wide open in front of the net.
Yeah, it's almost like everybody else has picked up their game, because especially the teams they're playing, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Detroit. These guys are fighting for their lives to get in the playoffs. As you mentioned, the Lightning are not. They may soon be. They keep playing like this. So it's everybody else has picked up their level, and the Lightning are lagging a little bit. They'll get there. I'm confident they'll get there, but I would sense this move for Tanner Jeannot is a signal to the rest of the guys that, this guy's coming in here, and he plays hard. He plays hard, and he plays with an edge, and that's what you guys are not doing. Is it a little bit of a message send as much as it is filling a need?
Well, first of all, you want to make your fans forget about a 7-3 loss? Make a trade 30 minutes after the game is over. Got to get it right out of the way. Oh, that would have been in the works for a little bit. The timing was – I just wish they'd have done it when we were on the air with Chief last night. We talked about it in generalities, but I don't think you make this trade as a message to the team over the last couple of days. I mean, there's no doubt this has been in the works for a little bit. And they've expressed interest in Tanner Jeannot before. It's just in the last couple of days, Nashville has said, hey, we're open for business, right? They traded Nino Niederreiter, So they're David Poyle, who's retiring, the only GM Nashville has ever known, is retiring, and he said we're open for business. So I think once that window opened, and as we've seen with Julian over the last 3 trade deadlines, 4 now, they identify what they feel as a team need. They identify the player they feel fills that need, and they go out and pay whatever price it takes.
Yeah,
because that's what the price of trying to win Stanley Cups with a group of generational talent you're never going to have again in your franchise's history. It's just not going to work that way.
That's right.
So you go out and try and win as many cups as you can with this group, and then worry about, as Jerry Seinfeld used to say, that's tomorrow guy's problem. Let's worry about today.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. And Jeannot is a hard player to play against. He can score 24 goals last year, led all rookies, regressed this year. He's down to 5. His shooting percentage has gone from 20% to 5%. But he has the ability to put some pucks in the back of the net. He will stand up for his teammates, and he's a forechecking machine. So it fits a lot of the identity that Tampa likes to have.
Yeah.
And can you imagine what I think will probably be a third line now of Nick Paul, Ross Colton, and Tanner Jeannot? Does that maybe rekindle thoughts of Barclay Goodrow, Yanni Gourde, and Blake Coleman? I think it does.
It does, yeah. No question about it. So you see Nemestikov, the odd man out here?
Yeah, I don't know. I can see a scenario, and somebody suggested this last night, and it makes sense to me, of maybe rotating your veteran guys down there. Belmar, Maroon, Perry said, hey, because they've been carrying 12 forwards for almost the entire year.
Yeah.
Before Cirelli was here, you did have Cole Koepke, and only occasionally have they gone 11 and set. And Nemestikov has been the guy that sat out. But I just look at where they're at in the season right now. I mean, Perry, Maroon, and Belmar all look like they've all lost a step this year, and they didn't really have a step to give up.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe you go to those guys and say, hey, we're going to have a little bit of a rotation here, give you guys a night off periodically, take some pressure off of your legs, and be ready for the playoffs. And then we'll decide what the lineup looks like once we get to the postseason. So we'll see. We won't know until the morning skate tomorrow. Team is off today after playing back-to-back games over the weekend. So we'll see what they look like for morning skate tomorrow before they host Florida. But yeah, Tanner Jeannot is he's a good fit. It's a lot to pay, but he's a good fit.
And do you almost kind of like laugh? Like, I'm sure you saw it last night. You see the outrage on Twitter immediately, and everybody.
Wait. Outrage on Twitter?
Oh yeah.
Shocking development.
Shocker. I know. But yeah, I was reading it last night, and everybody's like, okay, well, just because they won 2 Stanley Cups, it doesn't mean they can't make a bad deal and this and that. And I'm hearing all about the picks, and with the first round pick, isn't Vasilevsky? He's like the last first round pick that's on this roster, correct?
Correct.
And he was drafted 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't see the outrage there, but I was going to go to this question, though. We talked a little about the Lightning struggles, and a lot of it is happening, on the road. I think they're, 15-4-1 on the road, where I think
15-14-1.
Yeah. And obviously, look at how it is right now, as currently where they stand, they'd have to go on the road against Toronto, and then if they get past there, they're going to have to go second round against Boston, kind of like how they had to do last year. Have you been able to kind of figure out why it is that they're kind of lagging on the road this year more so than at home?
It's really hard to put a finger on. I tried to ask the players. I tried to ask John Cooper. I tried to ask Chief. Nobody has a real finger on why the disparity this year. Because this is a team that historically over the last couple of years has been good on the road. They've been very good on the road. They've been exceptional at home this year and not so good on the road. One of the theories that I have is the matchup situation. Because in years past, they've had the depth where you didn't worry about matchups. You kind of have some depth matchup issues this year, So with this deal now, as I just mentioned, if you have Paul, Colton, and Jeannot on a line, maybe that changes the way that teams match up against you when the Lightning are on the road.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of, because that's in today's game, today's NHL. That's the only advantage the home team really has is matchup, because the face-off advantage went away a couple years ago. So you don't have the home team puts their stick down last on the faceoff. Now it's whoever's closest with their back to the net. So it's hard to figure out for a veteran team. And like the even crazier thing is like the difference in the power play on the road and the power play at home. Why is it? It's the same penalty kill you would face at home or the road. It's the same power play unit you would have on the home or the road. And yet the disparity went 0 for 20 before they scored in Vegas to kind of snap that streak. You know, they scored one last night, but it was a garbage goal. They're already down 7-2. I wish I had a rational explanation that makes sense, but the only thing I can think of is the matchups.
Eric Erlington joining us here. I think you're right on that, and maybe a little bit of residue of what you said earlier about just other teams getting up for the Lightning when they come in. It's it's a circle date. They probably have a bigger crowd, the whole nine, and maybe that's part of it. And maybe the Lightning are just I still to this point, Eric, I don't know how Cooper does it and how these players do it. This is what are we in year 8 of this dynastic run, if you will. And to be able in all these deep runs into the playoffs, how the hell do you get up for regular season games when you've played so many big playoff games? It's just, I don't know how they do it. It's exemplary because they keep doing it, but it's got to be hard. It's got to be hard to do, and you just hope that they lock in come playoff time, and I think they will.
They're a veteran enough team. And I had this conversation with plenty of people, mainly on social media, that they didn't play well in March last year. Now, granted, the season went a little bit later. It went to the end of April. Oh, if they play like this in the playoffs, they're out in the first round.
Yeah.
The regular season is not the playoffs.
Yeah, they flip.
You're not zeroed in on one singular opponent. You're not breaking down one singular opponent. You're going from Chicago to Detroit to Pittsburgh, and in 6 nights playing different opponents. And being the veteran team, they understand the mentality they have to have. I mean, how many people thought they had no chance of getting out of the first round last year against Toronto? This is Toronto's year. And it was a tough series.
Yeah.
They went to 7. And it took 2 Nick Paul goals in Game 7 to get past the Leafs in round 1. Yeah. And I think it's going to be more difficult this year because the Leafs have a different mentality because they've been bounced in the first round for 5 consecutive years in series deciding games.
Yeah.
They added Ryan O'Reilly, makes them deeper. So it is going to be more difficult of a matchup for Tampa Bay this year. But to say that they can't, quote unquote, turn on the switch is false.
Right.
They understand. They've been through it. They know what it takes to win in the playoffs. They know how to do it.
Completely agree. This question came in from Richie P. With the trade, you get the feeling that the league is circling the wagons on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, it was an enormous haul for Nashville. I feel like if JBB is on the phone, the ante goes up. I think it's more the teams know when they identify the player, you're going to give whatever they can. And they just keep asking until, they say yes.
It's kind of like you walk down to the corner and you see a car that's driveway and you go, I want that car. Yeah. You knock on the door, the owner comes out. Hey, how much you want for that car? It's not for sale. Oh, it's not for sale. Okay, what if I give you this? Nah, I'm not selling. I have no interest. Okay, how about if I add this? Nah, I'm still not interested. Okay, I'll do this. Well, yeah, no, I'm not. I really like my car. Eventually, everybody has a price they're going to pay. Right. And value, that's what we talk about. Value is based on what the individual conceives to be the value. So Julian Breezeball thinks he's 5 picks. Cal Foote is worth Tanner Jeannot. He's going to pay it. And look, everybody said he overpaid for Barclay Goodrow. I thought, you gave up a first-round draft pick for Barclay Goodrow? I think we have to give their pro scouting staff their due here because they have identified these type of players who have come in and fit. Even going back to a Carter Verhaeghe, right? He was a castaway in the Islanders organization, which was already a second organization. They identified him, bring him in, improved his skating. He's a 30-goal scorer now.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for the Lightning, but he's a 30-goal scorer. Jonathan Marchessault was cast away by Columbus. Yanni Gourde was cut loose by San Jose. He was ready to quit hockey. So their pro scouts have done a tremendous job over the past decade of identifying these type of players. And Jeannot is another undrafted player who has found his way to the NHL. He was in the ECHL 2 years ago. Now he's in the NHL and giving this. So is he another Yanni Gord? I don't know. Could be.
We'll see.
And obviously Cal Foote went the other way, and I know the organization, they drafted him in the first round. They had high hopes for him. Maybe the last couple years when some guys on that blue line kind of went out, you thought he had a chance. Do you think ultimately for him, did he not do enough to like force his way into the issue, or was it really because they just had too many bodies and he was just left the left man out there?
I think with Cal, I love a lot about Cal Foote's game. He can play a heavy game. He has a really good first pass. He has an underrated shot. He has good instincts, specifically in the offensive zone. His skating never improved to a level they were comfortable with. And this is why it was hard to trade Cal Foote. They've been trying to trade Cal for a while, really most of this year, because they knew they had to trade a defenseman at some point. And speaking of other teams picking up the phone when Julian calls, well, wait a second. If you're trying to tell me you're trading Cal Foote, why are you trading Cal Foote? Because if we can see his skating is not improved, other teams know it too. So his skating needs to get better. And as we know, if you don't show enough improvements in your skating with this organization, it's probably not going to get any better at this point. So his value drops, his stock drops. So yeah, first round draft pick, pedigree, the bloodlines with his dad, everything like that. There were a lot of things to like about him, but at the end of the day, he was passed on the depth chart by Nick Perbix. And at some point, he became expendable. And he guys in this situation sometimes need a fresh start, and that's what he's going to get in Nashville. And he's going to go back to Ryan McDonough. That'll help.
Better fit. Yeah, better fit all the way around. All right, partner, I know you got to go. Maybe a quick word on Vasi's game on Saturday. 45 saves, maybe his greatest. 16 high danger chances that he turned away. That was pretty good stuff.
The word ridiculous comes to mind.
Yeah.
He was just fantastic in that game. I mean, he's the only reason they got 2 points out of this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They were just not ready to match what Detroit had. You know, when a team is going to put the pressure on you the way Detroit did, where they're in your face every time you touch the puck, especially in the defensive zone. So going back to that focus and mentality that we talked about at the top of the segment, if you're not ready to respond to that, that's what's going to happen. And when you have an all-world goaltender, an all-decade goaltender, an all-century goaltender behind the net for you, you have an opportunity to win games you have no right winning. And the goal by Kucherov at the end of the second was a massive backbreaker for Detroit. And Vasilevsky, as he can do sometimes, he was not letting anything in. It didn't matter what they did. He was just so locked in, especially coming off the game against Buffalo, where I know he faced three breakaways and a 3-on-1. So it certainly wasn't his fault, but he knows he's counted on to make a save in those situations, and he's hard on himself. He is such a competitor. As I told Chief last night, in case we needed a reminder or two things about Andre Vasilevsky, about A, how much of a competitor he is, bouncing back from that Buffalo game, and B, how ridiculous Gumby-like he is with the way that he can stretch out is just, I mean, the picture of him on stadium in Detroit, his legs are like parallel to the ice. Like, I think I ripped a groin just watching that. That's how, it's like, how do you stretch your legs that way? When he's playing like that, they get a chance to win a cup. And that's why you go out and overpay for a guy like Tanner Jeannot.
Yep, absolutely, as long as he's in there. All right, Lightning Insider, tell everybody where they can get your content, what's going on.
Yeah, lightninginsider.com is the website. We got the code JP, simply just JP, $10 off first year of a yearly subscription. Got the podcast, lightninginsider.com podcast. I have the Lightning Game Day Now podcast out there through Bally. And, of course, with Chief, the pregame skate show, we do a live 1 hour before every game out at Cigar City for home games. And then we're on also 1 hour before road as well. That's on the Strike 102.5 HD2. Of course, all being on the Lightning Radio 24/7 on the brand new JP Lightning app.
That's right. Get that. Redo your app. Make sure you re-download the app. Absolutely. All right. Go say hello to JBB for us, and we'll chat with you down the line. Thanks, Double E.
All right. Thanks, boys. See you well.
Yeah, if you're a hockey fan, you got to get lightninginsider.com. It's a must-have. He's the best in the business. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we got some. We'll talk a little bit more Lightning as we go through the show as well. We're going to hear from John Cooper, but when we come back, we're going to talk a little Buccaneers and Rays as well. An interesting weekend for them and for baseball in general. A spirited debate from Old Head and what do we call you guys? Yeah, him. When we come back, stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JeeVes lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes, so call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern, geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We thank Eric Erlinson for jumping on early this morning to talk a little hockey. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JeeVes lawgroup.com. Contact them if you are involved in an accident or your car was totaled. You don't think you got what you deserved in your settlement. A lot of extra fees that go into that you have to absorb when your car is totaled and you got to get a new one. So give them a call over there. Go to jeeveslawgroup.com. Contact them through the website. Tell them JP sent you. That's what one of the many things they specialize in. So if you have that issue, give them a call. Find out if you have a case. All right, I want to get into a little baseball talk here as the Rays go through, start their games in spring training, playing the Red Sox yesterday. They lost 7-6 to the Red Sox. But Taj Bradley had a really nice outing of 7 pitches and got all 3 guys out. Very impressive, and then sent the ball over to get Justin Turner to sign it. Justin Turner must feel like, wait a minute, I'm not Tom Brady here. What the hell is going on here? But you love to see that from the Rays youngster. We've seen his meteoric rise from AA to AAA last year, and it's going to be hard to deny him some time in the big leagues this year at some point. And the Rays are going to sustain a ton of injuries in their pitching staff. They always do, unfortunately. So I think he'll be, as much as we sit here and we say, oh, the Rays are loaded pitching-wise, in about 3 months, whenever it is, we're all going to be going, man, where did all that depth go?
Yeah, well, they have 3 guys right now that are kind of perceived underneath the big 5 starters, and that would be Yonny Chirinos, Josh Fleming, and Luis Patino.
Yeah.
I think Patino, to me, is more suited for a bullpen role where he can kind of come in late in the game and just let it all out. I don't know about you, but I just have not seen him. To me, he's not a reliable starter.
As a starter, he's ineffective. He just doesn't show anything special to me. The stuff is just average at best.
Yeah.
So, they've got to find something that he's really, really good at because right now he can't break this. He could be a 4 or 5 for most teams, maybe.
Not this one.
Not this one.
Yeah, and then I think Yonny Chirinos, I think he's a good hand. I'll put it that way. He's a good hand. You can slide him in there. Kind of Yarbrough-esque, I guess, from the right-handed side.
Yeah.
A little bit. Long relief, better role. And then Fleming gave up 6 runs in his first outing in spring training. I know it's spring training, but he's kind of in a battle to make the team, so giving up 6 runs in an inning of work is not really going to cut it.
No.
My point with saying that is Taj Bradley, there's a path for him to kind of, I think, get past those guys rather quickly.
Yeah.
To where if there is an injury in the top 5, in the front 5 of the rotation, which I think inevitably there will be, and if he's doing this thing in AAA like we saw last year, I think the Rays, they proved if you're good enough, i.e. Wander Franco, it doesn't matter how young you are or how long you've been in the minors, I think they'll throw you up there now.
Yeah, after the first couple months of the season, to be sure.
Yes.
So, I do think we're going to see him this year, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, the Rays, like every other team, are getting used to these new rule changes, and we had a situation this weekend with the Red Sox and the Braves where a batter clock violation ended the game. Bases were loaded. I think the bases were loaded. And in a tie or 7-6 game or whatever it was. Anyway, 6-6. And the batter took too long to get into the box and get settled. I guess you have to get in there and be ready by 8 seconds, and he didn't do that. And why it would take you 22 seconds to get into the batter's box. Or what is it? It's 15 if there's nobody on.
It's 15 if there's nobody on.
22nd if there's batters. Okay, so 12 seconds to get into the batter's box, get the signal, and be ready to go.
Well, that's for the pitcher. I believe the batter has 8 seconds to get in the box.
Well, once the pitch clock hits 8, he's got to be ready to go.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So doing some math there, that gives him 12 sequence.
Which I don't recall when these rules came out. Maybe I just missed it, but I don't recall that being specified.
Well, it had to be because if then the player can just sit outside the box until the pitch clock expires, right? So there had to be some component in there to where the batter had to get in the box and be ready to go. And listen, I know it feels weird right now. I know it feels weird. But it's just, we know it feels weird to me, and it used to drive me crazy watching Jeter every freaking play.
What are you talking about?
Like undo both of his gloves, then tighten them back up every single time.
You didn't like the big floppy spit, no?
Oh my God! It's like get in the freaking box and let's play baseball for God's sakes. It's ridiculous, and it takes forever, and you're clutching and you're grabbing and you're spitting. It's just get it again. If it takes 11 guys in 40 seconds can get in concert to run a freaking football play, then you should be able to get in the box. You should be able to get in the box, be ready to hit in 12 seconds.
No. One of the beautiful things about baseball, the beautiful game that it is, by the way, America's pastime, by the way. There's a reason why it's lasted a long time.
America's snooze time.
Shut your mouth. It literally there's no game clock. There's no time limits. We're not telling people how many times they have to do all this. And now all of a sudden, after 150 years of playing baseball, we got to change everything. We got to change everything, the way baseball is. And
We're not changing everything. We're just changing everything.
Everything's
that's
being
bad.
changed. Everything's being changed. Everything's being changed at this point.
Still 3 strikes. Still 4 balls.
Oh, really?
Still got to hit a home
Oh,
run.
really? Because last time I checked, we can have players. We can strike out batters without throwing 3 strikes now.
Well,
we can have batters walk without having without actually working a count.
Well, yeah, it's a
These
good
things
point
aren't
you bring
happening.
up.
It is a great point that I bring up. And every time I hear people saying that, oh, well, you'll get along with it. It's working well in other leagues to great levels.
Works in the minor leagues. They love it.
I don't care about the minor leagues.
They love it.
This is the big leagues. This is the big leagues. This is a gimmick. This is my problem is Major League Baseball keeps putting these stupid gimmicks in the game that are ruining it. I hate the 10th inning rule is atrocious in my opinion.
It's fantastic. Get the game over with. Let's go.
Why does everybody want the game to end?
Because we got other things to do in life. We got to go home. We got to feed babies. We got to
then
get
don't go to
get
the
to
games.
work.
Then don't go to the
stuff.
games.
We got to do stuff.
Then don't watch the games. Don't go to the games.
But why can't you just speed up the game? It's a whole lot of nothing. There's no. I was listening to Jeff Passan talk this morning on ESPN. He's right. He's like, it's 23 minutes shorter game. Okay. Oh, I'm missing 23 minutes of baseball. No, you're not. You're missing 23 minutes of guys grabbing their crotch. That's all you're missing.
We have to change all the rules to shave 20 minutes off a baseball game.
Just action. I need action in the game. I'm sitting there falling asleep because nothing is happening.
Teach the game better.
Yeah, it's
to me that's not a function of the speed of the game. I think that's a function of the way we're teaching the game and where everything's going.
Well, tell me this then: why did in the old school back in the 70s and 60s and 50s, why were games 2 hours or under?
I don't know. You got that answer?
Yeah, because guys weren't doing all this stupid stuff and taking so much time. Guys got in the box. We played baseball and we hit the ball. We weren't just sitting there taking every strike. It was a much faster, more actionable game, and every game took 2 hours. Can you imagine a baseball game taking 2 hours? It's fantastic.
I tried watching some baseball this weekend, and to me, in my opinion, it ruins the flow of the game. It's really odd to just see these guys really quickly, like huddling back up, and we're going. I don't like that. I like to digest my baseball. I do. I think it's a gimmick. I don't understand why baseball always has to be a gimmick. I don't know who's watching baseball more because of this rule.
Well,
who are we going after?
All we know is people year after year are watching baseball less, going to the games less. So if baseball doesn't change things change in this world,
yes,
and
I get it,
people's attention spans
people that are younger,
less.
Because people that are younger don't want to watch baseball because it's just boring or whatever, right? And so they're trying to go after younger demographic. But I'm saying is anybody my age, because I am the younger demographic, I guess that they're trying to target here.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how having a pitch clock is all of a sudden going to make all these
because
young people
have
go,
started,
I'm going to watch now.
People have started to abuse the length of the game, the opportunity to just stand on the mound and stare into it until the batter gets uncomfortable and then steps out. And then the batter does it to the pitcher. And then here we go with this cat and mouse game that can take all freaking day of guys looking in, guys stepping out, guys looking in, guys stepping out. We could do that all freaking day.
I love it.
And so how can you love that? How can you just love a guy staring in, stepping off the rubber, guy steps out? Oh, you're going to do that to me? I'll do it back to you. I'll step out, and then I'll stare in. It's
because
stupid.
not every pitcher works the same. Not every pitcher works the same.
Well,
not every pitcher wants to get the ball right away and go Max Scherzer or go Mark Burley on this. Like, let's keep going.
You need to now. You need to.
That's ridiculous. Go. That's ridiculous.
Let's go. Listen, I think, first of all,
and the fact that it's ending a game, that should never happen.
Get in the box.
That should never happen.
It won't happen once guys learn that you got to get in the box and play.
No.
You got to get in the box and play. That's why they're going to call it in spring training.
I'm not saying you got to.
They're going to make a big deal of it in spring training so it doesn't happen in the game.
I'm not, listen.
Nobody wants to see it happen in the game. But it's not because of the pitch clock that people are going to tune in. It's because when they watch the game, they're like, oh, wow, this is action now. There's action going on constantly in the game. I'm not just sitting there going, oh, he stepped off. He stepped out. He stepped off. He threw over 17 times. It's boring, bro. And teams have taken advantage of it. And like Richie P said, when the Yankees and the Red Sox get together, they're the longest games ever because that's their strategy, is to make people wait until you're. And every team can do it. And it's for me, It's gotten out of control, and it never used to be that way. Guys would get on the rubber, get the signal, throw the damn ball. Guys would not get out of the box until they all started pimping and primping and all this stuff that they got to do, led by Derek Jeter. And that's when that game changed into that. We need to change it back to the way it used to be, 2-hour games.
That's fine. I'm never going to get on board with a collection of people and they do this. It's not even just baseball. They do this in everything. Why, in general, this is the larger point, I guess. Why do we want to speed up everything? Why do we have to speed up everything?
Again, we're not speeding it up or going back to the way the game used to be played and should be played. That's to me what we did is we slowed it down for all this pimping and primping, whatever the hell they do. That slowed the game down. This became a strategy, and you got to take it out of the game.
But baseball in general is doing this with everything, though, by the fact that we can't have extra inning games anymore, right? We're literally
we can have them. We just want them
We're
over.
doing a skills contest, basically, to get the game over with. That's what I'm saying. The whole
not a skills
point
contest.
is like they just want to get.
Like you're still playing baseball.
That's not baseball. If you're putting a runner on second to start the game, to start the 10th
yes,
inning.
Yes, it is. You're still pitching. You're
baseball.
still hitting. You're still pitching.
That's
you're still
hitting.
hitting.
That's a skills competition.
No, it's not. A skills competition is a shootout
Why do you
where
want
you
the
have
game
one-on-one.
Just don't play the game.
Why? It's not one-on-one. It's still 9 versus 9. It's not. That's not a skills competition.
With the pitcher having a disadvantage.
What does it? He's still. But it happens for both teams. It happens for both teams. There is no disadvantage. There's no disadvantage. It happens to both teams.
Listen, they're doing that
it just
rule.
Gets the
they're
game
doing
over
the pitch
quicker.
the pitch clock. When they do a doubleheader, we got to play a 7-inning game now. But if something crazy happens in that 7th-inning doubleheader game, by the way, as when Madison Bumgarner threw a no-hitter, guess what? It's not actually a no-hitter. We're not going to recognize it. So why play the game? Why are we trying to get games over with?
Because they're too long. They're too long. They're too long.
Like baseball for what it is, or get out.
I won't even say this. I won't say they're too long. I'll just say there's not enough action. Like college
I'm not
football,
disagree with you there.
College football game lasts four hours. It's ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous now to go to a college football game and sit through all these 3, 4, 5-minute commercial breaks that are now on TV. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I agree with you there. I agree with you there.
They need to go back to 2-minute breaks, and they keep extending them. It's 2:30, and now it's 3. Now it's 3 and a 30-second promo. And if you're at a game, you get 3 stoppages, 4 stoppages per quarter that are like 4 or 5 minutes long. It's ridiculous. And there has to be, at some point, you have to say enough is enough for the fan. And for me, it just give me action. I don't really, like I said, I don't really care how long the game goes, as long as it's exciting and there's action. If guys are just sitting around doing nothing,
better.
It's awful.
You keep telling me about how it
teach
used to be
people
back
to get in
the
the box and go.
How about teach people how to hit?
Yeah.
Stop telling everybody to hit home runs. Major League batting average was at an all-time low this past year.
I agree
with
you. It's
embarrassing. We don't value batting average anymore. We don't value the guy that pokes it to the other side.
I agree
we don't
with
value
you.
these things anymore. That's action. We don't have stolen bases anymore.
I agree with you.
Now we have bigger bases so that we can encourage stolen bases.
Right.
Okay,
and
good.
That will happen this year.
I'm all good with that. We don't teach the game good enough, and then we kind of try to find, well, where did we go wrong here? You just don't teach the game. The Wade Boggses of the world, which is a great example, we don't encourage those type of players in the game anymore.
What's happened is, like, they say in the NHL, the coaches ruin everything. They've ruined overtime now because now teams just try to hold the puck until they can get the last shot. It's stupid. So now they're going to need a shot clock in NHL overtime because the coaches figured out this is the way to control the game. Same thing has happened in baseball. Coaches figured out, I can get an edge by stepping out of the box all the time and making the pitcher feel uncomfortable. So we're just going to keep doing that over and over and over again until the pitcher gets uncomfortable, and the pitcher says, I can just step off the rubber and I can do that too. And we get this cat and mouse game. That changed the game when they went to these stupid philosophies of trying to get an edge by making the other one uncomfortable. So you had to have an equal and opposite. Okay, if you guys are going to keep doing this, and we have to legislate it because you keep doing it as managers and as teams, we're going to have to legislate it. So why don't we just give it a try, see how it goes, and maybe make up our minds at the end of the year what we want to keep and what we don't want to keep. Listen, we tried that with the extra innings, and I loved it. Like right off the bat, you got a scoring situation. The drama is ramped up right from the beginning. That's what I want to see. I want to see drama. I don't want to see 6 innings, nobody can get on, and we're just going on and on and on. We're going through our pitching staff like it's water. Now we got to bring Joe left fielder in.
I'm glad you
think
that way.
To pitch,
because you know what? If you would have had that, you would have never had Mr. November with Derek Jeter. You would have never had that. You would have never had Big Bobby's moment in 2004. against New York.
It just would have
You would
happened
never had
earlier
these
in the
great
game.
moments. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't have had these great moments.
No, it just would have happened earlier in the game.
No,
That's all.
no, you wouldn't have had Luis
That's all.
Gonzalez's walk-off. You wouldn't have had that.
What are you talking about?
Was that the ninth inning?
Yeah.
It was the ninth inning,
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting myself mixed up here. Whatever.
Yeah.
My point is, there's a lot of great
And
moments you
eventually-
miss out on.
Well, no, they just happened earlier, and we all can get to bed on time.
It doesn't mean the same when there's a batter on second or a runner on second base to start the damn inning. It doesn't mean the same. It's a clear advantage. It doesn't mean the
There's
same
no
thing.
advantage. It happens for both teams. What are you talking
I
about?
want you to try to get a guy onto first and then run to second and then work that guy in. That's what baseball is.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll definitely get
This
get the feel.
This game will die if they do what they've been discussing. The people that float out, let's do a home run derby to decide the end of the game. Well, we're dead. We might as well just end the game.
Ooh, who came up
We're
with
dead.
that idea? I kind of like that.
I hear that one. I know you love that stuff.
Home run derby to decide extra inning.
We want to
game?
do home run. We want to
Now
have.
that would be a skills competition.
Yeah,
This
we want.
is not a
When we
skills
get to the 10th inning, some people have suggested, well, why instead of going in order of the lineup, let's put our best three hitters to start extra innings automatically, so something good can happen right away and we end the game. No, those are not things that we need to do in baseball. I know you love it. I can see it.
Might say that's
Your
not
head's
a bad
turning.
idea either. Yeah. I want action. I want drama. I want to see the best players. I mean, if we can, just because somebody came up with these rules 1,000 years ago, we have to stick by those because, some guy said this would be a great idea. No, the world changes and you got to change with it. And if you don't, you become extinct. It's the dinosaur.
Baseball's
it's the dinosaur.
not becoming extinct.
Yes, well, it's well on its way because I
don't
mean,
think it is.
I just can't. And again, I don't think a 30-second pitch clock or a 20-second pitch clock is that much, is like speeding up the game that much.
I'm just saying there are other. My
If
overall
you can't
point.
get a sign and be ready to throw in 20 seconds,
Listen,
what are we doing?
My overall point is this. Before we move on, my overall point is larger than just a pitch clock. Is that Major League Baseball keeps trying to fix things and tinker with things in the game to get more viewers in. But you want to know how you get more viewers in? You want to know how you get more action in? As I already said, you teach the game better. You stop with the nonsense with the launch angles and all this garbage, okay?
We agree on
That's
that.
number one.
We agree on
Number two, how about you market better?
Oh, that would be
How many
better,
people
too.
in this country know who Mike Trout is? If Mike Trout was walking in any supermarket across the U.S., how many people would recognize him? Honestly.
Not a lot.
Not
I'd
many.
Say,
And
I'd
let
say about
alone, he
10%.
plays in L.A., mind you.
Yeah, 10%. Well, part of that is, and I think the commissioner was right when he said this, is Mike doesn't really want to be the face of baseball.
That's fine. Find somebody else. I guess what is it?
yeah.
Otani? Is it Judge?
fine.
Whatever. But my point is, these guys still are not the level of superstar as the ones that came before them. We don't market these guys. We don't have somebody that sticks out anymore.
Well,
That's
look
a
at the
big
Rays.
problem.
The
It's
Rays
everything's
don't do any
star driven.
hardly do any marketing outside their games.
I just feel like a lot of these things are self-inflicted by MLB, and now they point to things of what else can we change. And I don't think anybody's asking for these things or wants them.
I think the players are. I think universally the players like well, not universally. I think the vast majority of them like these rules. At least that's what I've heard. I've heard a couple dissenters, but not many. I think most of them like it, and it's working in college baseball. It's working in the minor leagues. So let's bring it to the big leagues and see how it works. I'm interested to see how this whole stolen base thing works with the 2 throws over. That, to me, if we could get more stolen bases in the game, oh my God, yes, let's do that. Absolutely. Although I think that rule is a little tricked up. I'm not really sure how it's going to work. And that's what I'm saying. Let's see how let's see how teams hack it and what exactly happens.
You know what? When the Rays have their first televised game this weekend, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try.
Jordan says, he's so smart. I'm with JP. I find it exciting.
No,
These idiots need to get in the box. You don't have to adjust your gloves 8 times. I love it. LOL. They have plenty of time to get used to it in spring training. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. 8 seconds in the box. I mean, you have 12 seconds to get into the box. That's a freaking eternity. You don't even need to step out of the box except to get a signal. Get your signal and let's go. Eric GP says there's a level of disrespect to the fan when these guys are primping and printing. I know. It's like I have to sit here and watch you do this. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke.
I'm glad that when y'all go to games, y'all just want to get in and get out.
Yeah,
Jordan
says
for
these
y'all.
bad habits didn't start until the 2000s by hitters and pitchers equally. Old school baseball was played much faster. Yeah, go look at the time of games. You could see them in the box scores from the 60s and 70s, and maybe even the 80s as well. Yeah. Jordan says, is the play clock stupid in football? football would take longer than it already does. Can you imagine if we didn't have a play clock in football?
This isn't football.
Oh, my God. Jeez,
this isn't football. The beauty of it, there's
I
no
don't like
clock.
that play. Let's call it
There's
another
no
one.
clock.
Oh, my God. Forget about it. You ever play sandlot football and the team's in the huddle for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and you're like, what are you guys doing?
I've never had that problem.
Yeah.
Never had that problem.
I definitely have, no question. In my opinion, this makes baseball far more fast-paced and exciting, but it will get some getting used to. But it's really the most boring of all sports. I can't blame the MLB for doing it. Players did it to themselves. I totally agree. Jordan's on a roll.
Well, if we're going to acknowledge
Jeremy says Nick's going in hot. Yes, he is today. I love it.
Listen. If we're gonna acknowledge baseball's issues, then do the same for basketball.
Oh, basketball.
More people watch the MLB than they do the NBA.
Listen,
and
have
we
you
don't
ever
treat it as
seen?
such.
Have you ever seen a college game when the coaches run out of timeouts at the end, and there's no timeouts, and there's like a minute and a half left on the clock? It's rare. It's very rare, but it's great. It's great. And in the NBA, it was even worse. The NBA, they have 50 timeouts in the last 2 minutes of the game. And
Correct.
you know what the worst part about it is? They call timeout, and then they hand it to LeBron James, and he goes one-on-one. What did we draw up? Did we really draw something up there? Like 90% of these plays, they just give it to their best player who can get their best shot. He grabs the ball, they clear out, and they go. We needed to call timeout to set that up. Let's go. Get the ball, get it in, let's go. I think if I was in basketball, I would say you get 2 timeouts in the last 2 minutes, that's it. Each team, you can save your timeouts if you want, but when we get to 2 minutes, you get 2 timeouts in the last 2 minutes, and that's it.
I'm good with listen.
Now, the NBA won't. Do you know why the NBA won't do that? Because the NBA knows that their sponsors like all those timeouts at the end of the games. That's the only time people really watch the game. So that's when they get their biggest prices. So it's about money. But I hate it. I hate it, and I don't watch it.
That's what I'm saying. I find
I
it
don't watch
funny
it
how
anymore.
everybody wants to poke holes at the game with baseball. And I'm saying from an in-game product standpoint, to me, the NBA needs more work than MLB.
Yeah.
I mean, we just had the highest ever NBA game score ever. What was it, like 181 to 178 for crying out loud?
Second highest, yeah.
What are we doing?
ever.
We've had 2 guys score 71.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard last night. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But that stuff used to be rare.
Yeah.
The 40-point game might as well be the 30-point game now.
Yeah.
There's more issues with that than there is baseball. But nobody wants to acknowledge it, though.
I agree.
Nobody wants to acknowledge
it. The NBA is unwatchable. It's unwatchable for so many reasons. And I used to be the hugest basketball fan
did too.
ever. But I watch it now, and I'm like, this is terrible. It's terrible basketball for the most part. And I used to love watching the Warriors play because at least they played some semblance of team basketball, and they still do to some degree, but it's not like it used to be. Boring, in my opinion. So, yeah, if you guys want to weigh in on the baseball, please do. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, I want to talk some golf. You watched some live golf this week, didn't you?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I watched a little bit too. And there's a live golf tournament coming to a driving range near you, right in Orlando. So if you want to check it out, late April, I think it is. But I'd much rather you go buy Valspar Championship tickets, to be quite honest, and see the real PGA Tour. By the way, Justin Thomas over the weekend committing to the Valspar Championship. How about that? So we got Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas. That's going to be a great, great show out there. So get your tickets now at ValsparChampionship.com because the premium tickets are going to sell out. It's coming up quick. March 16th through the 19th, the Valspar Championship. All right, back in 3. Stay with us. Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information, so if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605.
Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns this March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of golf action plus a host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. Sam Burns, who won in a thrilling playoff last year, is looking to make it 3 wins in a row on the Copperhead course at Innisbrook Resort. He will be challenged by a top field that includes Jordan Spieth, returning for the first time in 5 years. The 2015 Valspar champ counts 13 PGA Tour victories, including 3 majors in his career. It will be a great field and great fun. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship. JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance, because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right, your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah, so call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation, because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com, and tell him JP sent you.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Thank you for joining us, whether it's on our app, FanStream Sports. Don't forget to download the app, FanStream Sports, all one word. You can tap that app, just leaves on your phone. We don't get any personal information, none of that stuff. Very simple, just there for listening to the show and the podcast. You can always just tap that app, and the show will pop up. So if you want to listen to us at lunchtime or an afternoon drive or at night, in the morning, whatever, you can always tap that app, and the show pops right up. We do 2 hours Tampa Bay centric every single day, so Monday through Friday, so check it out. We appreciate all of you guys jumping in here as well. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on fanstreamsports.com, so check it out any way you like. And YouTube, of course. Subscribe to the YouTube page. All right, so watch a little golf this weekend. Watch the Honda playoff. Kirk won in the playoff. So, and there weren't big names, like no big names on the leaderboard for the Honda, but it was good drama going down the stretch. And I peeked over on the CW to watch Live Golf. First and foremost, I hate the screen. Hate the screen right off the bat. It's just, it looks like an internet show on YouTube.
It looks like a Fortnite.
Yeah, it looks like that's what it looks like. Yes.
Exactly what it looks like to me. It's very gimmicky.
It's very gimmicky. Again, if they're trying to appeal to the 18 to 25-year-olds or whatever, fine. But advertisers like the 24 to 50, 24 to 53, or whatever the hell that demo is.
18 to 34.
Yeah. But the other one is better, because those are people with actual money and can spend money on big pharma. But it's unwatchable. And then the 54 holes, and then the shorts, and the music. I mean, it's like watching
if you listen
to clown show.
If you listen to the
it's
last
not
discussion
real
we
golf.
had, you know how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's not real golf, man.
I used to be Team Live, and in some respects, I understand. Again, I'll preface this: for the Ian Poulters of the world, the Graham McDowells of the world, by all means, go get your bag.
Yeah.
You're done winning on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Go get your bag. I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
But I'm disappointed in Cam Smith. I cannot believe, every time I see that guy out there, I cannot believe it.
Yeah.
He looks so like an outcast out there. Like he's the only one wearing pants, by the way.
Yeah.
He looks completely outcast. I'm so ashamed of him. I'm ashamed of Bryson DeChambeau. I'm ashamed of Joaquin Neiman. I mean, all these guys who to me had so many years to win on the PGA Tour, but that's a whole other story. I tuned in the other day, and the first thing I jumped out to me was there was music. Okay? There was music.
That's fine for my game.
That's not fine for a professional tour. And what made it worse is it's like, what kind of music are we playing here? Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake is playing as Jason Kokrak, or whatever his name is, Kokrak, is trying to hit a 6-iron into the green. How am I supposed to focus on what's going on with Sexy Back playing? And is that golf music? No. I don't think so. Okay, no, that's number one. Number two, there's nobody there. There's nobody there at all. They had stands built, and literally guys are putting it with no audience. And they literally have stands built there, and nobody's sitting in.
Where was that, in Mayakoba?
In Mexico.
Yeah.
In Mexico. So that's an issue. 54 holes is always going to be an issue. I don't know what's going on with this team aspect. I can't even hardly see.
Who cares?
I can't see the little logos next to their name to even know who's on the same team to begin with.
Yeah.
And I just found the entire broadcast very boring.
Yeah.
And I thought it was supposed to be the opposite of boring.
Right. Yeah, because it's the antithesis of the PGA Tour. And listen, does the PGA Tour need to loosen up and have, a little bit more of the waste management feel? Yeah, and here's the thing. I like the waste management field once a year. I like a little bit of fun, a couple times a year. That makes that event is like a football game. But I don't want that in my Masters. I don't want it in my U.S. Open. I don't want it in my PGA. I don't want it in my Players Championship. I want a golf tournament. It's like you say. It's like they're different sports. I want a golf tournament, and you can have some fun. And we probably need to jazz up the tour a little bit. But I mean, the Live Tour. And are you watching Full Swing?
I'm 4 episodes
on Netflix.
through. 4 episodes through.
Yeah, I love that documentary. And here's one of the reasons why. Because Ashley, my girlfriend's watching it, and now I got her a set of clubs for her birthday. So now we're going out and hitting balls, and she's hitting it really well. She's already driving the ball, probably 175, and she's a little bitty thing. She takes a rip at it, and she's got the bug. She loves golf. Guys, I know guys are like, no, I don't want her playing with me. I do. I mean, because you can take trips, you can take golf trips, you can travel, you can play golf, and you don't have to. I mean, I think it's brilliant.
Well, your woman doesn't talk shit in your backswing like mine does.
I don't know that. I haven't played yet.
Or openly
but
kill me.
She wouldn't.
You put a video of me swinging the other day at the Copperhead, and she was just going randomly on her phone. We were sitting on the couch, and all she said was, "Wow, you suck." No uplifting. Then she sees a picture of me walking on the course that you put there, and she goes, "You look like an old man."
You may have more issues than just your golf game.
So you think I want to go out there and play golf?
Okay.
Really?
Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I guess it depends on the spouse. No, she, generally speaking, Ashley is very uplifting about everything, so that's good. That's good. But she loves it now, and yeah, we were at Orange County National, which is not far from her house, and that's where we hit balls, the biggest driving range in the world, by the way. And they're setting up for the Live tournament like a month ahead of time. These huge stanchions that they're putting up, and stands and everything that's going to go on. So I mean, we're definitely going to go check it out. I want to go to a Live event just to see what it's all about. Probably maybe try to get some press passes or something, because I'm sure they're desperate for any type of media to come watch us, please. But it's good. That's 2 weeks after Bay Hill, and which is that's a huge event in Orlando, and it's a week. It's going to be a week after Valspar. We're 2 weeks after Valspar. I mean, it's there's a lot of professional golf that people can go see, real professional golf, not this this Live stuff. And you could just see the players. I think like Brooks Koepka even verbalized it. He's got some FOMO. I think all these players, the Dustin Johnsons of the world, and these guys have got to be going out there going, man, what was the ratings on CW? Like I got like a 0.1.
0.2 was the overnight rating for Live Golf. Okay, for context, whatever show is World's Funniest Animals, that outperformed Live on CW. World's Funniest Animals.
That's a good show. That's a really good show.
Well,
I love animal
And
videos.
the Honda, which this was the weakest field that you'll
my
probably
God.
see on the PGA
Yeah.
Tour all year.
Yeah.
Their rating was a 2.4.
That's significantly higher.
Slaughtered Liv, and that's with, again, and Liv had all their aces out and about in this
Yeah,
one. All
yeah.
the big names were playing, okay? It's like I tune in, it's like I know they're the big names, but for whatever reason, the whole thing just doesn't make me want to tune in, though.
No, it doesn't.
And I think it's because I've been so conditioned to me that like everywhere the PGA Tour goes, it feels like a big deal. Like I feel like, okay, they're playing at the best courses. Maybe this is just a me thing. You might know these places that all these live guys are playing at. I've never heard of any of them.
Well, Orange County National is not. I mean, they do have PGA qualifiers there. It's a good track. I think they're playing the Crooked Cat. They have the Crooked Cat and Panther. It's a good track. It's a worthy track, but it just doesn't have that feel. It just doesn't have that feel.
It's the feeling that I get when I watch it. I feel like I'm watching something that's so much.
And you
lesser.
go to Orange County National. It was built probably 25 years ago and has not been upgraded a stitch. Not a stitch. I mean, it is an old. It looks old.
Yeah.
It feels old. It feels cheesy. It certainly doesn't feel like Bay Hill. It certainly doesn't feel like Copperhead.
No.
I mean, it just doesn't. It's just, and that you got to have that feel when you go out there. You want to make it feel like you're at a big event and not some cheese ball event.
And that's why I don't want to go there and feel like I'm at an exhibition.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
what it is. But that's what it is. And you know what, friend? In the watching Full Swing, how they've depicted live golf, and I've seen a lot of things on Full Swing that I didn't see in the regular media. Like guys talking about it, the way they were talking about it, the way the interviews were handled, some of the questions that were asked. It's dramatic. It's dramatic.
And I don't agree, by the way, with a lot of these questions that have been asked to these live guys. I don't think they should have to answer for, if I'm being completely honest.
Well,
Ian Poulter was asked if Vladimir Putin made a golf league, would you join? What kind of question is that?
He said, I don't have to answer that question.
You don't. Well, why are you asking that question?
Because it's a gotcha question.
It's a sleazeball question.
Yeah. I don't appreciate that.
I don't like the way they get that.
But it is. Listen, what the Saudis is doing, what they are doing, is sports washing. Okay, everybody knows it. So if everybody knows it, and what Phil said, which I don't ever know why Phil was canceled for it, because what Phil said was the truth, and he was at least he was honest about it. It's like, yeah, we don't agree with their human rights record and all that, but it's a lot of money. I mean, he didn't say it that way.
Phil's issues though were with the PGA Tour.
Yeah, and listen, they have forced the PGA Tour to do things that they were unwilling to do, and suddenly they found all this money. So that I will give Liv.
And Phil was the right guy to do it.
Right. I will give Phil that, and I will give Liv Golf that. And here's the thing. These guys have been banging on the PGA Tour to do this. And it's kind of like college football, right, in college sports. I kept telling you, it's like, make changes, or somebody's going to do it for you. And you're not going to like it the way the legislatures do it. You're not going to like the way private enterprise does it. You're not going to like the way somebody does it. And so make reasonable changes now. In college football, too greedy. The administrators were too greedy to do it. They didn't want to give up their power. They didn't want to give up their money. And now we're in this NIL mess. And the same thing with the PGA Tour. They would not make the necessary changes. And so they got Live Golf, and they have to. And now golf is screwed up because we've got, guys that we want to see competing on the PGA Tour at this stupid clown show, and they're not where they should be. And that's bad for golf. In general, that's bad for golf.
And are they even getting world golf rankings?
No.
Have we established that?
No,
or are
not
they
yet.
still trying to fight that?
They're still trying to get it. When these guys' exemptions run out, like obviously, if you win the Masters, it's a lifetime exemption. But for some of these other majors, there's, you have to requalify and get those points. And when their exemptions run out, we're not going to see Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka in major championships.
Yeah, and by the way, in the Full Swing too.
Although I think Brooks Koepka's done, by the way. But watching him on Full Swing,
he looks like
that dude is gripping so hard. He's gripping so hard. No wonder he can't play anymore.
Yeah,
he's done.
I don't know there, but even from Full Swing
and
too.
by the way, he's a douche, and so's his girlfriend. So whatever.
Yeah, but you're speaking down about a Seminole like that. It's
Call him like I
interesting.
see him, bro.
That's
Call him
fair.
like I see him.
That's fair. But the other thing too that Full Swing kind of opened my mind up to, which we talked about this with Liv, like, are you going to get the same passion you see on the PGA Tour? Who is it? Joel Damon.
Joel Damon. I loved his story. Loved his
This
story.
is why I love the documentary, because a lot of these
so
guys
good.
we don't know.
Right.
We just see.
I didn't even know the Tony Finau story.
Yeah.
About his big family that he carries
Exactly.
around. Yeah.
But the Joel Damon one was interesting. I love the candid, and I'm sure he gets banged for this, but he was like, somebody's got to be the 70th best player in the world, and then I guess that's me. And they asked him, he's like, you think you can win a major? And he's like, no. He's like, that's for the JTs and the Rorys.
He's like,
that's
they're
for them
just
to
built
win.
differently. Their mindsets are just different than mine. I'm fine.
Like, he's content with it, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, they talked a lot about, and there were some other guys at Fitzpatrick, like when you get your PGA Tour card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to fight like hell to keep it. And they hit the point home a lot. When these guys don't make the cut, you got nothing.
You get nothing.
And you lost money on that weekend.
Well, but, and that's kind of misinformation, because every guy on the tour has 10 to 15
Yeah,
sponsorships.
the sponsors, yes.
They're sponsored, and they're before they step on the course.
True.
Most guys, if you've been on the tour for 2 or 3 years, you're probably making $400,000-$600,000 before you even step on the course.
Yeah, but just in the context there, it is just take the sponsorship out of it. It is true, but the bigger thing though is like the Masters and the U.S. Open. These things that you have to qualify for. Like, there's always an incentive that you have to keep working on your game, play better. The passion. I mean, you see like the tears when these guys are winning and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that you see on Live. I just don't see how you can ever replicate that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that documentary showed it.
How about Matthew Fitzpatrick charting every one of his shots? Like, every one of his shots that he's taken in competition, he charts on. He's got these old yardage books that he keeps the shots in, and now he charts every shot on his computer and does all the analytics. I mean, that guy is a freaking workaholic. And one of the great things about having amnesia like I have all the time now is I'm watching the documentaries from last year's PGA, and I'm like, oh, Fitzy, yeah, that's right. He hit that shot out of the sand. But it was I'm reliving that shot. It meant so much more after watching the documentary.
Yeah.
And watching Tony Finau go back-to-back, and win those tournaments back-to-back, and then you get the whole backstory on his family. Did you see how he learned how to play golf? His story is amazing. He grew up in a very poor family in Salt Lake City, had like a small townhouse, and they didn't have money to go to the driving range all the time, so they would only go on Sunday. So his dad wanted the kids to, because they grew up in a very poor hood in Salt Lake City, which I didn't even know they had a hood in Salt Lake City. And so they went in the garage. He put a mattress up in front of the garage door, and they hit balls off a little turf mat and learned how to play the game through videotapes and hitting it into the wall of the garage. And there's all these dents in the wall. They never opened the garage because that was their range. And that's how he learned how to play. And he's got 5 kids and his wife that he met in high school. It's such a great story. It's such a good, and the Joel Damon story, how his best buddy, his high school, applied to be his tour caddy. Is like, that is such a cool story. And so now you meeting all these guys, and these. I tell you want to talk about promotion. You know what? You know how you promote your sport? Get a Netflix series.
Facts.
Look what it did for F1, and now this full swing is just blowing up golf.
Yeah, we need a baseball one, Rob.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Can you imagine a baseball documentary series?
Let me see these
with
stories
all
of
those
these
egos.
guys. Let's do it.
Freak shows, because there's a lot of like crazy people in baseball. There's crazy stuff. Baseball though is very secretive. I don't know if they want a lot of that stuff out there. But hey, I'm here for it. Let's get some video of the Yandy Arozarena throwdown.
You and that throwdown.
Yeah, let's get some video. Do we have some security footage from the parking lot? Has that tape been erased? I want to see that. So anyway, I think the golf for me, we're just starting to get into the Florida swing now. We got Bay Hill coming up, got the Players coming up in a little bit. And Valspar is going to be here, as we mentioned. Justin Thomas. We're going to start getting a ton of news. In fact, we probably got some news. I need to check with Rick Odioso, see if we got some guys that have committed today, because today will be a big day of commitments for the Valspar. Yeah. So that is going to be – and it's so fun to be able to go out there and see some of these guys that you see their backstories now. And I want to follow Joel Damon. I want
Joel Damon to win.
Yeah. I mean, oh, God, yeah. I want to – is that the list right now?
Yeah. I believe this is a very long list.
It's an updated list? Okay, cool. So we'll get to some of those as well. All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little football, little Buccaneers football, what's going on this week. Jason Light and Todd Bowles will be speaking at the Combine, I believe, tomorrow, Wednesday. So Jason Light hasn't spoken since the end of the 2022 season. He's been very much in the back. Oh, and I got a little Buck scoop for you coming up. So, quick break. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo is going to join us today or tomorrow. I'm still trying to figure out exactly when we got him on today. So we'll have that for you as well. Quick break. Stay with us.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah, so call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years.
The boys are back. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of incredible golf plus a host of activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. There is more to the Valspar than just great golf. It's the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Snake Pit Club, accessible by premium tickets, and other great venues throughout the course for those with ground tickets. And new in 2023 is the Rooftop, a new prestigious venue at the 18th green with music, food, and fun. Plus, you never know who you're going to see at the Rooftop. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show on this Monday as we're heading towards spring training games here in the area, already up and running. So hope you guys are checking that out. Yankees are up and running in Tampa. Aaron Judge getting huge ovations.
We don't have to go to those games, do we?
Don't have to go, but they're nice to go to. Outdoor baseball in spring, love it. I go to one or two Yankees games a year. Love it. What a great facility right there. I tell you, I wish the Rays would play a couple series a year in that stadium over in Hillsborough County, outdoors in April and May. Oh, be fantastic. Be so cool. Sell like a season ticket for Hillsborough County. Yeah. Instead of getting 4,000 for the Twins in Tropicana Field, get like 12,000 over there. Pack the place. Be so fun.
Just get the Yankees out of this city. How about that? Just
yeah,
get them out. Just get them out.
I hear people like, "Oh, Tampa's a Yankee city." That's the dumbest shit ever. It's so stupid. They're here for a month. A month. That's it, and they're gone. The Rays are here for 6 months.
Yeah, well, you know who's not here for just a month? They're fans. They're not here for a month. I'm sick of them.
You're on fire today. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's nice to have. I love spring training. It's a little extra thing to have. You get to go to, and by the way, it's not just going to see the Yankees. You get to see all the other teams too, outdoors.
I don't need to see the Yankees.
Including the Rays, by the way.
I don't need to see the Yankees.
Yeah.
I don't need to see a bunch of overpaid players. I don't.
It's funny. I don't really go to see the Yankees as much. It's kind of, see Aaron Judge. And by the way, the regulars don't even play all that much. When you go over there, they get 3 or 4 at bats or 1 or 2 at bats and they're done. So it's just a nice atmosphere. Professional baseball outside. I love it.
Now
I love outdoor baseball.
Like now, last year when we went we were in a box. I'll go then.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm in the shade.
Yeah, in the shade, and you got all you can eat hot dogs.
Yeah,
all that great food.
Then I'll be on it.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to go sit out there in the heat like that. Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
But that's the whole thing. It's not even that hot. Although it has been like really hot.
Are you kidding me?
February.
It's like 90 degrees outside.
Yeah. Although I was out hitting balls yesterday and it was like 80, but it had a nice cool breeze to it. The humidity wasn't that high.
I'm not ashamed to say it. I stayed inside all weekend.
What? It was so nice outside.
I mean, first of all, I was working.
Oh, well, okay. Well, there you go. All right, so the Bucs Combine begins this week, so everybody will be up there. Jason Light and Todd Bowles will be talking. It's lying season, so I'm not sure how much we're going to get out of them. Although I'd like to hear some thoughts from Jason Light on what happened in the 2022 season from his perspective.
I want to know.
Yeah, I'm guessing he probably won't answer a lot of those questions, to be quite honest. But we'll see. We'll see how he answers them. There'll probably be a lot of, we're moving on. We're on to Cincinnati. I don't think the narrative of the 2022 season is something he really wants to focus in on. Because here's the thing. If you're being honest about the 2022 season, which I think we have been very honest about it, you got to take shots at Brady. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to take a shot at Brady ever. Because of his legacy. And, it's like back in the day. You wouldn't say anything bad about Tiger. Don't say anything bad about Tiger because Tiger's people will be on you like flies on what. And they're going to want to ruin your career and have you fired and everything else. It's, and Brady's team, I don't know if they're not maybe as aggressive as Tiger's team was, but just, criticizing Brady just really doesn't come off too well. It just doesn't. But if you
don't have to criticize Brady as a GM, you don't have to tell the story. There's plenty of other things you can point to.
I think if you're being honest with your fans, you can say what Bruce Arians said.
Yeah, and he said
Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady.
But he said because of his personal life. That's fine. I don't think you have to go any further than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it definitely seeped into his football. There's no question about it. So, yeah, that was not good. Not good. All right, so the Bucs will head to the Combine, and as far as who they're drafting, look, it doesn't really. There are so many needs on this football team, especially at key positions. Not like they're a terrible football team, but they just have needs. They got a lot of needs, and so they can go edge rusher. And this draft is very deep in edge rusher. To me, the only positions that are off the board for me in the first round are running back. That's about it. Just running back and kicker and punter.
That's funny because there's odds actually right now for what team guys are going to be drafted to. And I found it ironic. I'm trying to find it right now, but it come across my screen here on either FanDuel or DraftKings, one of the two.
Bijan Robinson.
The Bucs are the number one favorite right now to land Bijan Robinson in the draft. Now, I don't know what they factor that in. I'm not sure what information they have. But on one of these gambling sites, that's where they have it listed right now.
I'm sorry. With you need a corner if you're not going to sign Jamel Dean, you need a corner. You got to have an edge rusher. You need an offensive tackle. In my mind, you need an inside linebacker. I don't know if I'm taking him in the first round. You need a quarterback, for God's sakes. You need a quarterback. You can't take a running back. You cannot take a running back. Oh, my God. If they take Bijan Robinson, I'm going to be so pissed off. You cannot take a running back. You can't. Not with all these needs. And at 19, you're going to have a good player available. I mean, I really don't want them to take a receiver. I don't, because I think there's so much more you need, and you can find receivers either later on in the draft or in free agency or wherever. You can find those guys. You can't find big boys. You can't find big boys or those special talents like quarterback. And to me, right now, I mean, if I'm the Bucs, if Hendon Hooker is there, I'm taking him at 19. 100%.
19 is too hard for me.
100%. Well, everybody says he would have been a top 10 pick if not for the ACL. Well, ACLs heal, for God's sakes. They heal really well, especially for quarterbacks. Come on. What are we doing here? Because he's not going to play this year? We don't need him to play this year. We need a quarterback for the future. We need a quarterback for the future. I mean, it might be Kyle Trask. We don't know. But I think, your feeling on that, on a scale of 1 to 10, do you think Kyle Trask is going to be a long-term franchise quarterback? I'll give it a 2. I'll give it a 2. If he was that good, he would have punched through a little bit more. I know that the odds have been against him, and with Brady there, he never really got a shot because, Blaine Gabbert, they wanted him to be the guy that steps up. So I get it. But I just, where the game is going, I don't see it.
I just feel like with that pick, like they have so many holes right now, and I feel like you're a better shot at getting an impact player in another position than you are a quarterback, I think, at that pick. Like they've got, I keep telling you, I think pass rusher is something that they need to get.
Huge.
I think they need somebody in the secondary that can take the ball away, that has good ball instincts.
This is why you got to trade Devin White for a second and a third.
Well,
or if you can get a first, you got to trade Devin White, because that way it allows you to be a little bit more frisky with your number 1 pick, because you can go fill those holes. If you can get an extra second and third, you can fill the corner edge rusher with the extra. Then you have 2 2s, 2 3s. That's 4 picks in the top 100. I mean actually 5, because you still have your first round pick as well. So that's 5 picks in the top 100, and you can use one on a quarterback, and a really good one that would be available at 19. I'd do it in a heartbeat. And then you got to hit on those. You got to hit on the seconds and the thirds. And Devin White is just not a guy that I want to pay $16 to $20 million a year. I just don't want to do it. And evidently there's a market out there for him. So,
but the Bucs aren't interested in trading him.
Well, we don't know that.
I think we do know that.
How do we know that?
I mean, it seems like from everything we heard, we've had conversations with like Scott and everything. This is Bowles' baby. And as long as Todd Bowles here, Devin White's going nowhere. Listen, the organization loves Devin White. I think even you could answer that they love Devin White, regardless of they love Devin White. They showed you last year. They did. They could have sat him down for anything. They could have said something about him out loud. Nobody ever did. They love Devin White.
Could have extended him last year. They loved him so much. Could have extended him already.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I don't think for 1 second they're trading him, though. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to pay him. I don't want to pay him $20 million again. Not my money. I don't want to do that. I don't think the Bucs should do that, but I think ultimately they probably will. But if you trade Devin White, and if you can't get Levante David back, well, you continue to just kind of open up holes.
Yeah.
And that's the position that they really have zero depth at. Zero.
Yeah, there are a lot of holes. That's why you need more draft picks. And I think you can get a player that's more not as flashy as Devin White, but I think more dependable, which is what I want in that space. I want a guy that's going to play by the rules, play by his assignment, not get sucked in like every team seems to be able to do to him in crucial situations. And if you don't pay him, you're going to lose him, and you get nothing back. So if you're in a rebuild, you got to find assets like that, and this is a rebuild of sorts. It's a rebuild of sorts. You can say retool, whatever you want to say. Reload.
It's a rebuild.
It's a rebuild. I mean, it is what it is. Let's just be honest about it. I want to hit this story before we hit the break too. Over the weekend, and we've talked about this over the last few months. Michael Alford, the Florida State athletic director, told his board of trustees that something has to change when it comes to closing the growing revenue gap with other conferences. And basically, it's about the big money that the Big Ten and the SEC are getting, and the ACC has fallen way behind. And the problem is Florida State signed a stupid-ass deal, giving up their grant and rights, their TV rights and all their publication rights, broadcast rights to the ACC till, 2036? 2036. The ACC is locked into its television deal with ESPN through 2036. And the estimates are that Florida State's value to the league is at like 17% of the entire league in terms of its value, its earning capacity, and they only get 8% back from the league. So that's a dramatic shift. And they're $30 million per year under SEC and Big Ten numbers. So of course they want to, but in order to get out of that grant and rights, they're going to have to. They've come up with a number, and I think it's $120 million that they would have to pay the ACC to get out of that. Now, obviously, you make that up. Even my FSU math can handle that. If you get into the SEC, you make that up in 4 years. So, is that worth it? I mean, if you look at 2036, well, yeah, it's obviously worth it. It's obviously, that's a good play. But it's still a hell of a lot of money in this particular climate. And you also don't know if the SEC expands, do they automatically get more money from ESPN to give out to Florida State and Clemson or whoever comes into the league? I don't know. Probably there would certainly be an increase. But I think it's clear, and we've said this, that the FSU is, unless they can get that deal better or get more from the conference, they're gonna do exactly what Texas and Oklahoma did and get the hell out of the ACC. And when Clemson and FSU leave the ACC, it no longer functions as a football conference.
Yeah, I think Florida State, Clemson, Miami, and then I've been saying North Carolina. I think they're the fourth brand there, if I had to make the argument.
But they are an ACC blue blood, man.
That's the thing. It's like, do you really want to break up Duke and North Carolina? Would both schools even want that? I don't know.
They are a blue blood. They are a blue blood.
Yeah, interesting enough, and this has been floated out there.
Virginia Tech, it may be a better fit.
Does it matter, though, like how good you are at certain things right now? Does that
Not
come
really.
into the discussion, or is it just the brand / money?
More of the brand. I think, I think it's more of the brand. I mean, because you look at some of the,
Well, that's why I included. That's why I'm throwing Miami in there.
Definitely, yeah, Miami definitely would be in there. And maybe you don't have, it doesn't necessarily have to be 4 teams from the ACC leaving. Yeah. Could be, then they could go pick up, another team that would maybe a Houston or something that Houston going into the
Houston's
Big 12.
In the Big 12.
Yeah, they're going to be.
So they're out. But the other thing that's been floated, and I think Forbes had a report on this week, was the possibility of a Pac-12 ACC partnership. And they call it the APAC Conference, Atlantic Pacific Athletic Conferences. They would merger, and in I think 4 years' time, they would have a chance to get their own separate media deal. Because right now, I think the Pac-12 to me is the interesting part in all this. They can't find a media deal.
Yeah.
They can't find one. It's looking more and more likely that they are going to probably have to jump on the streaming platform, like Apple's or something like that. So I think the Pac-12 clearly is like dead in the water right now from where this stands. So I think that's their only hope right now is for them to get on with the ACC in some sort of partnership. But if the big 3 in the ACC leave, though, I don't really know how much that really moves the needle then.
Yeah.
Because then you're just going with the leftovers that really don't have the huge brands in the ACC.
And the other thing is the SEC now is so crowded. Do they even need 2 more brands like that?
I wonder if the SEC can, can we remove a member and add somebody in their place? Can we do that?
Can you get rid of Vanderbilt?
Does Vanderbilt really need to be there?
Probably not.
Has Missouri ever felt like an SEC school?
Never.
I think those two are like the clear candidates to
But I don't think you can kick teams out of the league.
Why not?
I don't think you can. Contractually. I think it's very hard to do.
You think anybody in the TV rights is going, no, we want Vanderbilt.
No.
We can't let them go.
They don't. Yeah, contracts are made.
I don't think anybody really cares.
But I think the Big Ten would definitely like to add FSU and Clemson. That would give them a much different footprint in the South, which they need.
Yeah.
That would enhance their television package tremendously to give them a foothold in the South and for recruiting as well. So
I think it's more like it seems like the Big Ten would be more like willing to strike because I just don't know where the SEC needs them.
They don't. And that's interesting for FSU bucked the trend and went to the ACC instead of the SEC. I mean, you may look at that deal right now and say, that wasn't a great deal, but I would look back on it and say FSU won, 3 national championships that way. And they are what they are. You can say it wasn't, but there were times when the ACC was better than the SEC. So not often, but there were some years. But anyway, you earned it. And FSU always had a very challenging non-conference schedule that would, you look at their total schedules in total, you'd put them up against SEC schedules, and we have, and that bears out. But I think they made the right choice at that time because their basketball program thrived for a while. But now I think it might be where everybody would have them pegged into the SEC. I think it might be interesting for them to go into the Big Ten and open themselves up to these much bigger, a lot of big markets in the Big Ten that are not traditionally looking at FSU. I think it would be interesting because if the money's the same, why not go where you're kind of more coveted than some places that just has a lot of you. There's a lot of FSU in Georgia and Alabama and LSU, and it's not a whole lot of different brand, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason why the Big 12 is doing the same thing right now, and they've been the most. Right now, I feel like of the conference, they're the ones that are they're putting it out there the most. Like, hey, we want to expand and we want to get West because then we can have teams in the West, we can have teams in the Midwest. We can have teams up north, east, and we can have teams in the south. So they can get the footprint, and that's really big, obviously, with the media. Mm-hmm. So I think the Big 12 is another conference, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a UCF guy. Those are facts right now. That's looking to so where do they kind of fit in this whole thing? I know they're trying to steal the best that's left of the Pac-12, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of moving parts. I think we both would agree, though. We liked the how things were, though, rather than all this stuff.
God, yes. Absolutely, 100%. And one other note, a couple of mock drafts have now moved Anthony Richardson to the number 1 overall pick. And it looks like the Bears are going to trade that pick. And they're going to stick with Justin Fields, which I think is smart. I think it's smart for them. They have so many holes. If they can get 3 number 1s for that number 1 pick and a couple of 2s, which, I mean, there have been ridiculous draft day trades, especially for a quarterback that you want. You got to cash in on that. If you don't need a quarterback, you've already drafted your quarterback, you got to cash in on that.
Yeah.
And I think Justin Fields I think he can be a franchise quarterback, and he wants to be in Chicago.
He needs they're stuck with the coach right now. He's a defensive head coach. First of all, I think that's the thing. I wouldn't have hired a defensive head coach for Justin Fields, but then again, they didn't draft him.
Right.
That's the one thing. So if they wanted to, they could move off of him. You already got him talking about, he hates playing outside in Chicago. So that you kind of have to think about that a little bit. Does he have the arm to kind of play in Chicago? Mm-hmm. I mean, really, nobody really has ever had the arm to play in Chicago.
Nobody wants to play,
or wants to, but they got to give him more weapons. They got to give him more weapons because he is an electrifying player. Mm-hmm. He's one of the more fun players to watch, I'd argue. I think he finished 9th in the MVP voting this year, Justin Fields. On a 3-win football team.
And watching him play, I just think he got a lot of Jalen Hurts in him. His game looks like a lot of Jalen Hurts and I would say early Josh Allen as well.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, he's a big kid. He can throw the ball down the field. He just has no weapons, and he's a gamer, freaking gamer. We'll see. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side, and I want to hit a couple other NFL stories. Chris Lugo is going to join us at 11:45, and we're going to talk about something that was really getting on my I was pissed off. It really made me anxious last night, and it's the level of obesity in this country. I was at SeaWorld last night, or yesterday, at a theme park. The level of obesity in this country is at disgusting levels. It really is. It's terrible. So we'll talk about that, and from a health standpoint with Chris Lugo. So lots more coming. Stay with us. Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. The PGA Tour is back. The Valspar Championship returns to Innisbrook March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of great golf action and a host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. Every tournament day offers something different. On Friday, we'll celebrate St. Patrick's Day with the wearing of the green. Saturday means Valspar Live, where tournament patrons will be able to enjoy country music superstar Darius Rucker with a free 90-minute show after the conclusion of play. And on Sunday, we're going to crown a champion. You don't want to miss it. Everybody will be there. Tickets on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss it. The 2023 Valspar Championship. Hey guys, it's a new year, so are you looking for a new you to lose weight, lean up? There are many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there, but you know where to start? Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently, and many of these other approaches are designed for the masses, the quick weight loss, but it doesn't stay off, right? Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you, so the weight comes off safely without use of drugs that only work temporarily. So call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC. And Chris will join us each Monday at 11:45 to talk about your wellness and the significant injuries to athletes in the sports world. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If you've been injured in an accident or had your car totaled and didn't get the settlement you were looking for, probably the case, then give them a call. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com and see if you have a case. It's a free call. Tell them JP sent you. And by the Golden Diamond Source, always a great time to head on over there. If you're thinking about getting married, pop in the question. That's the place to go. Great selection and always the best staff there to guide you through whatever questions you may have. Honesty, dependability. You know they're always going to be there. You can always bring your diamond back and get what you paid for it and upgrade. So it's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. And, of course, by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, whose director, Chris Lugo, joins us. What's up, Chris? How are you, my friend?
What a mercy.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Nope, I don't think he's quite ready yet to join us. Chris, are you there? Are you there? Can you hear us? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear us.
Give him a second here to see if he can figure it out.
Yep, I think he's ready to go. Yep. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me? All right, there we are. How are you, partner? Yes, I can. Very, very good. Look at that fancy microphone you got there. That is I love that thing.
Is that better?
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So listen, I just, yesterday I'm at a theme park, SeaWorld in Orlando, and I'm walking around. So many people on these scooters. I don't want to be mean about people that are overweight because I know some people have issues, but just in general, looking at Americans, and obviously there's foreigners there as well, but I mean, it's not just obesity, Chris, it's the level of obesity. Some of these people are so huge, and it's I don't know why. It was just like, what are we doing in this country? And so many, and now we got all these drugs that are, supposedly weight loss drugs, and you deal with these all the time. Some work, some don't. And we don't, and there just doesn't seem to be anything, out there prevalently that is like this is how you should eat. This is how you should exercise. I think I just remember in my growing up, there was so much emphasis on getting out and doing things and being. I mean, we don't even have PE anymore. That's mandatory for kids. I mean, what are we doing here?
So I think Harvard came up with a stat a few years ago saying that 70% of the American population, 70, will be morbidly obese by 2035.
Why is that?
Well, the big thing is this country feeds the world. If you took an aerial view of the United States, a lot of it's green. The reason why is because a lot of it's farmland, soy, corn, wheat, rice. We feed the world. We put corn in everything.
Yeah.
Right? High fructose corn syrup. Got too much corn? Let's put in some gasoline. We've got an abundance of this stuff, so we literally sprinkle it in. If you look at a great diagram of Kraft and General Foods, Pepsi, and look at all the dots that what on the companies they own, they all point back to processed carbohydrates. Okay, they're cheap, they're easy. They're easy to grab. That's why everyone says, you always shop on the outside of the grocery store, not on the inside, because that's where all the processed carbohydrates are. Look, we talked about COVID before. If you had the two dichotomies of health people, you had the people who are running up the east side and west side of the highway who are shopping at Trader Joe's. And then you had the other people who are feeding a family of 6 with McDonald's, right? Because it's so much cheaper. Yeah. That's what it comes down to is the cost of food. And those carbohydrates are really cheap and easy to get and manufacture versus great quality proteins. That's why the obesity rate's going up. And I have the thing that I refer to as the big 7: rice, pasta, breads, cereals of any sort, sugar, sugary drinks, alcohol, chips of any sort. Limit them as much as possible. And you'll see that the weight will come off over time and will stay off over time. But those carbs are easy to get.
Didn't I see a few months ago that the FDA came out with a new food pyramid and Lucky Charms was on the top of the, they were pushing sugary cereals and stuff like this. And everybody's like, what is this?
It's scary. It really and truly is a scary time in the world right now.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like you can't trust the FDA. You can't trust the CDC. It's like any of these people that are supposed to be looking after us, right?
Yeah. Look after yourself.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah. And so, I guess, how do you, if you're on a limited budget, well, if you go through the produce section, it costs more than it used to cost, but it's still, you can get a cucumber for 59 cents. You can get bananas are kind of cheap. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there that's cheap, but you got to prepare it, right? You got to take time. You got to learn how to cook it. So how, if you're on a limited budget, how do you eat healthy? Is it possible? You have any tricks for that?
There's really no tricks. I would say if you've got a limited budget, I would concentrate that budget mostly on lean proteins. Okay, so your chickens, your turkeys, your lean cuts of meat, your pork chops.
Pork is cheap. Yeah.
That's where you should be concentrating your budget onto. And then the other thing, that if you got anything left over, that goes into vegetables. You don't need fruits. That's a farce. You want to keep your glucose levels nice and low, so stay away from the fruits. Get your carbs and source of vegetables, plain and simple.
So you're not a big fruit guy, because I love eating tangerines and citrus, strawberries, berries. No,
you don't need 6 servings a day. So that diploma right there is a nutritional science major from the University of Florida, where I learned the pyramid. Okay. Yeah. And no, it's not about getting 6 servings of fruit a day. Yes. Do I eat some fruit? I will. If I'll make a whey protein shake, I'll throw blueberries in there. Okay. Right. Low in sugar, high in antioxidants. But I'm not putting mango. I'm not putting pineapple in there like I did when I was younger. Yeah. These are things to change as you get older. Nick can get away with that stuff because he's younger. Us older guys, we can't get away with that.
Yeah, I would agree. You have any questions for the doc on obesity and I know Casey's always on your ass.
Well, Doc already told me last week that I'm not as big, so I
did.
think he answered. He told me that I'm good. But I was good, though, at that meal. I did everything in my power not to grab a piece of bread in front of you. I did everything in my power to order something that was grilled and not fried. I did those things.
But did you do this weekend?
When Chris wasn't around.
Eyes are rolling, delayed.
You fraud.
That means no.
We went to Bolé last night. Do you know what Bolé is?
I've heard of it. It's one of the newer places.
It's like the Fresh Kitchen. It's like Fresh Kitchen, like where they have the bowls and you get the healthy stuff. I did good.
Oh, okay.
I did good. So I had broccoli in there.
Yeah.
My broccoli up like a month.
One thing that surprises me that everyone's giving Ozempic and Mounjaro a really hard time right now. We can make 1 billion vaccine shots, quote unquote, for COVID, but we can't keep up with the demand for semaglutide and tirzepatide. Knowing that we have an obesity pandemic going on, or epidemic going on here in the United States, you think that these insurance companies would definitely be pushing these drugs and letting people get healthier, losing that weight, get a healthier lifestyle.
Right.
But they're not. Everyone's getting resistance on getting these drugs. Walgreens, CVS, Publix can't keep them in stock because there's a shortage. Where these drugs aren't coming out of China. There's no reason we should have a shortage. The raw materials aren't coming out of China. So why aren't these insurance companies on board getting this obesity pandemic epidemic under control?
So you like Ozempic for weight loss?
I like Mounjaro better, tirzepatide, because it's a combination of a GIP and a GLP-1 agonist. Been using that for probably the past 6 months. But I was using originally semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy. It's the same thing. One's a Ford, one's a Lincoln, one's a Chevy, one's a GMC. It's just got a different label on it, but it's the same exact drug. But all the shaming that a lot of these pharmacists are giving these patients who are picking these drugs up, saying, "Oh, I can't believe you don't have diabetes." That's insane. And pharmacists should not be saying that.
Yeah, and drugs are. I mean, can you bust this myth of off-label use is bad use for drugs?
From today's date and back, we've been doing 25 to 30% of off-label drug use for the test of time.
Right.
Let me give you an example. So if someone's passing a kidney stone, a female is passing a kidney stone, I'm going to give her Flomax, tamsulosin, to help pass that kidney stone. Well, tamsulosin Flomax is indicated for male prostates, but we know that actually it helps relax the ureter to make it easier to pass a kidney stone. I'll give the same drug to a guy trying to pass a kidney stone. It's an off-label use, and pharmacists don't bark at it, but they're going to bark at giving someone Ozempic versus Wegovy because they're trying to lose weight. It's absolutely insane.
Any reason why? Is it okay? Enough said. Same thing as ivermectin. Same thing as
You got
hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah. That's given pharmacists a new soapbox to stand on.
Yeah, it's weird. We never had this growing up when the doctors were in charge. Now somebody else is in charge.
Now the pharmacist wants to know the diagnosis code before they dispense a drug.
That's crazy.
Now the pharmacists are actually, JP, why are you on that medication? Do you have diabetes? Like, I don't need to be telling you my health history. We don't have no. That's a HIPAA violation.
I literally, I don't know if I told you the story, but I was in a Walgreens, and a girl came in to get a vaccine. And she said she wanted the J&J because it didn't have the mRNA. And she told the pharmacist, yeah, my dad and my mom and my dad are physicians, and they told me to get the J&J. And the pharmacist, I listened to this conversation, said, well, we don't recommend the J&J. We have it, but we don't recommend it. We recommend the Pfizer because that's what, and she's like, well, my parents are physicians and that's what they recommend. So I want to go with that. And they're like, well, we really don't like to dispense the J&J here. So she's like, well, let me call my parents and let me see. And I couldn't believe it. I could not. Her parents are doctors, and they're having. I mean, not only is it this girl's doctor, it's their parents, and they were still not allowing it. The pharmacist, like, what?
You know why? You don't know why, do you?
Well, I mean, I think
the reason why they're doing that and pushing certain drugs. Because pharmacists get kickbacks from the drug companies.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a little known fact that a lot of people don't know, that if they push certain brands, they actually will get kickbacks.
The company does, or the pharmacist does?
Pharmacy does.
The pharmacy does.
So if I'm a Walgreens, CVS, Publix pharmacist, my parent company is going to get that kickback. So I'm told by the C-suite, hey, by the way, you need to push this medication, that comes from their meetings.
Wow. That's
a little known fact that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, that's our medical system is, well, and this is all the more reason why people should go to you and get the real facts and what's going on, and have someone that they really, really trust directing their medical care, and that's you. So how can people get in touch with you?
Best way is to go to the website, BAMMC, Bravo Alpha Mike Charlie.com, or call us up 844-789-2266, which is BAM.
Yeah. Well, I hope we can get this obesity thing under control in this country, because we need more people stepping up and telling people to get healthy and eat healthy instead of buy Coke, buy this, buy that. These big companies do not have your health in their best interest.
Not at all.
It's all.
And look, I'm a University of Florida graduate. I love Gatorade, right? The home of Gatorade. But you and I don't need Gatorade. We need water.
Right.
You're playing football, you're playing baseball, you're playing basketball, you're playing hockey. Yes, you need Gatorade. You need to replete that. You need to get that sugar in there. Otherwise, no one else needs that sugar. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, Chris, great stuff as always. We'll chat with you next week.
Guys.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you want to find something that's overwhelming our medical system, it's not the unvaccinated, it's the morbidly obese. It's incredible. And when we, I know I could lose a few pounds. There's no question about it, but it's bad out there. It's really bad out there. And, and it sucks because people, you can't live a fun life, a great life when it's like that. And man, hope people, we put more, and I'd like to see more athletes start doing this and talking about it than just maybe, because to me, that's the number one health problem. Well, obviously it is. It's the numbers back that up. All right. Anything else we did not get to today, my friend, that you wanted to throw out there for the folks? Oh, we talked to Eric Erlinson early on, and I guess Julien Brisebois did a little presser today. Did we get any notes on that at all?
Yeah, we did. He kind of gave the spiel that kind of we've been saying, that he had his own value on the picks, and he did all his homework to see what those picks potentially could be. And when they did that, it was a no-brainer for them, because a lot of these guys, like the NHL, these guys don't come for years.
Right.
At best, a draft pick in the next 2-3 seasons, you're not even going to see until like 2027 at the earliest.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it from that standpoint. So that's why these picks really are not a premium for the Lightning at all. And he also said, that we're in a situation where all of our best players that we have right now and the ones that are locked up, they're all in their prime.
Yeah.
The only one that you kind of have to, or the only two, I guess, that you kind of have to watch for a little bit are Stamkos and Hedman.
Yeah.
Everybody else is in their prime.
Yeah. I mean, it just, when the Rams said it, they were right. I mean, you got a team that's ready to win. F the draft picks. Go get those guys that are going to put you over the top. And obviously the Lightning are in that space right now, and they will be for a few more years.
Which is why I'm not sure why everybody's so worried about success in 5 years or 7 years, 10 years down the line. Who cares?
Nobody cares. At least I don't.
Get your cups and move on.
Yeah.
It's going to suck for Pittsburgh when Crosby and Malkin are gone, but you know what? You got 3 Stanley Cups out of it.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, and you're those draft picks, they're not going to help you for years and years and years to come.
Not at all. And the fact that he's an RFA, you can get a long-term thing done as well.
Exactly. All right. Our thanks to Eric Erlinson, who joined us early in the show. If you want to go check out that interview, it's right off the top, 5 minutes in. You can check that out. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity and more football talk. So we'll do that tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.